Right, a picture.
Hello, everyone. Welcome. Item 1.1, call to order roll call. Welcome to August 15th, 2023 regular meeting of Banning Point School District Board of Education. The time is 5:30 p.m. Please be advised that a recording or broadcast of this meeting is being made at the direction of the board. Clerk Troutman, please take roll. Trustee Ruiz? Present. Trustee Nogales?
Present.
Trustee Anguiano? Present. Trustee Martinez Laura is virtual.
She's currently not available online. Oh, they're. Oh, this one is this B. It's locked in.
I trustee Troutman present. Please let the record reflect we have a quorum. Thank you. Item 1.2, pledge of allegiance. I would like to invite. There. Left, hold, left, face. Ready, begin. Order. Follow. Forward, march, left, left, hold. On the agenda, changes to the agenda. No changes. Are there any board requests to change the agenda? Okay. Do I have a motion and a second to adopt the agenda as posted? I second. I have a motion for Ms. Ruiz and a second for Ms. Troutman. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Hearing none. The agenda is adopted with a 4-0 vote.
Yes. We have on her.
She just unmuted herself. Can you speak so we can hear you, Trustee Martin?
Can you hear me, Mr. Davis?
Now.
Okay.
Can you vote for adopting the agenda?
I'm not sure if you heard me, but I said yay.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. So agenda is adopted with 5-0 vote. Item 1.4, opportunity for community comment, closed session item. Did we receive any community comment? No comment. No comment. Item 2, closed session. The board will not go into closed session. The time is 5:34 p.m. Thank you. For closed session, Clerk Chowman, please share. Oh, no, I meant that, my bad. It's item 3, open session. We are back from closed session. The time is 7:43. Clerk Chowman, please take roll. Trustee Andriano, present. Trustee Martinez Lara,
Present.
trustee Novales,
Present.
trustee Ruiz,
Present.
I trustee Troutman is present. Please let the record reflect the authority. Now, item 3.1, report for closed session. Clerk Troutman, please share. Item 2.1, in closed session, the board received information and took action. In closed session, the Board of Education approved the recommendation for readmission of student for the student case 2022-23-9 for the 2023-24 school year. Motion was made by trustee Ruiz, seconded by trustee Andiana, and carried on a 5-0 vote. In closed session, the Board of Education approved the recommendation for readmission of student expulsion re-entry out of district for the 2023-24 school year. Motion was made by trustee Ruiz, seconded by trustee Andiana, and carried on a 5-0 vote. Item 2.2, in closed session, the board received information and was updated. Item 2.3, in closed session, the board received information and was updated. Item 2.4, in closed session, the board received information and was updated. Thank you. Item 3.2, opportunity for community comment. Did we receive any?
No comment, please.
No comment. Okay. Item 3.3, BTA comment. I would like to welcome BTA President, Mr. Anthony Garcia.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Real quick, I just want to welcome all the staff back for this new school year, welcome all the students back. Everybody seems very positive, and I look forward to a good school year. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Item 3.4, CSBA comments. I would like to welcome CSBA President, Ms. Jennifer Serrano.
Good afternoon. Everybody. Jennifer Serrano, president from chapter 7. With me present, I have part of my negotiations team, and we're just coming to let you know that we were able to come to an agreement with the district. This is the first time in many years that CSEA has had a full contract. At the start of school, usually it's not until later, so we were very pleased with the work we've done. And so Beverly Quinones is on the negotiations team, Mario Cadena, Rico, Lorraine Santa Cruz, Belinda Frazier, Travis Warren, Saida Alcala, and I have one Terry where he's not here today. But we just want to thank the district for working through that with us, and we're excited about our contract getting approved tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Item 4.1, superintendent comment.
So good evening, Madam President. For Mrs. Troutman, members of the board, our community. So our first board meeting back, so I'm going to get back to our presentations that I used to do. So a few things I want to start with. But before I get there, I just want to make a comment because I saw CSEA here and public comments, and for the group to stand up as a united team and just it's positive to say, hey, this is where we're full contract. To have Mr. Garcia stand up and talk about, you know, there's things that are positive. Now, I know there are challenges every day. There's things that we work through, but I just want to say that here we are in the year 2023-24, and we want to keep that positive momentum moving forward. But that means that open communication, you guys have been great with it. We want to build upon that. So I want to thank you for being here. I want to thank you for strength because it makes us all strong together. So thank you. So moving forward, yes, welcome back. And I'm sorry that you guys have to turn around. But again, it begins with me. So that's not saying, what are you doing, Mr. Cadetta, to fix all the problem? It's what am I doing to support you. Understanding is happening because it begins. So moving forward, just a few pictures that I want to show. I used to share these pictures. So this is our welcome back. And our keynote was Mr. Ronnie Habib. And, you know, it appeared that our staff had a good time. He got the staff interactive, moving, but really the message was about, if you see that down in the bottom left-hand corner, if I'm not there for myself, who's there for me? And if not now, then why? So really overall is as a human being, you cannot assist and help other people unless you're in their space. And there are times when we all struggle. So how can we have more compassion for each other, more compassion for ourselves to do the challenging work that we all do every day? Doesn't matter what your role is, you're faced with challenges. If you work in public education, if you work in management, if you live in the world on the planet, it's challenging. So it was I believe overall the feedback that we did receive was very positive. And so this was the first day of school, and these are just a few pictures. These are pictures that I took, and our kids look happy. Our students look happy at every site. I was able to get to every single site. And Miss Katie, is Miss Katie here? Yeah, there she is in the back. Look, she's smiling still. So I said, can I take a picture of you? Now, I don't choose what goes on the district website. I just put them in a folder and then someone selects them, but everyone seemed really happy. In this photo on the left, I saw at Nicolette in a teacher's classroom, and it just kind of lit me up. Is because it's like, I don't really stay positive. It's about our mindset. The more we stay positive, the more we move in a positive way. If we think negative, you're gonna go in negative. So how do we work on that to balance yourself? Next up, and I just want to remind everyone about our mission statement, Banning Unified School District's mission statement. We are a diverse community, but our goal is to develop responsible, respectful, prepared students to achieve their full potential. So we should always be preparing ourselves, students, each other, inspiring students, each other, and educating. That's what we're here for. That is our purpose, and everyone has a role and space in that. Next, I just want to share, go back to our LCAP, so our local control accountability plan goals. Basically, which was approved by the board that says, this is our focus. This is why we exist here. Accelerate learning, build capacity for staff, create a safe and healthy environment. And that is a major focus for our board. Increase parent and community engagement and improve our student social emotional outcomes. That is why we exist. So we don't, if we're not reminded why we're here, what we're doing, we go back to our next slide, please. And this is something that I've talked about in every single group. So our new teachers coming in. I know we're going to be doing some CSCA orientation coming up soon. In the beginning of the school year with our leadership team, these are the 4 priorities. So I've learned along the way, very hard lessons, that my role is to be led by the board leads through me, then the team. So what are goals, priorities? And I just want to share this. That it is to align district resources to improve student achievement. So if we're spending money on student achievement, as well as going back to the LCAP rules, then that's what the board wants, and that's what we should do. To improve our health, safety, district-wide, and further create a climate of open, honest communication. That way, we're held accountable, that we understand what's going on. And I just ask for people's patience. But if we're not listening, and we're not getting back to you, I won't. Because we're responsible. That means that's accountability. Because if I know someone's getting back to you on a timely conversation with staff, that's the expectation. So I just want to put that out there because those are the board's priorities. Next up, and I can't stand this picture. However, I want to talk about the Real Talk podcast. We just recorded our 4th episode. And we have a lot of people listening to that. People that don't even work in banning. I advise you to listen, not to listen to my voice, but to hear from the staff who work here. Because they're talking about their experiences. You get a whole different perspective. As an example, our pause is going to be up next of who people are when you just hear them talk. And some of them are a little funny, but you should know who the people are. Ms. Lynette White is getting requests from people to be on that podcast because people want to talk about what they do in the space and they want you to do. So I invite you, if you want to participate, reach out to Ms. White. But this podcast is really taking off, launching off because people are hearing from our staff. And the goal is to get our students, and the goal is to have students lead it. That way they can build and we can understand what they go through every day. Because if we don't know what students go through, then we're missing them. One of the last slides is parent advisory meeting. So I know that this has come up with the board. I know it's come up with parents. I see Mr. Torres here, very involved parent. And there was some conversation about we had moved to virtual due to the pandemic, but it's time to come back physically in the space. So this is an attempt to start this. This year, there will be 3 sessions. And in essence, it will be myself and the cabinet team, more so listening to parents, not so much speaking to parents. Very briefly, we'll talk about what our goals are, what we do in the district, but we want to hear from you. So this will be going out, being sent out through all our platforms, and we invite parents to come in. That way we can start to learn from a parent perspective what their experiences are. That way we start to focus on that. And if I, again, just want to thank you, welcome you back to the new school year. But just remember, Dr. Pendleton begins with me. Thank you.
Thank you. Item 5, consent calendar. The recommendation is to approve the consent calendar agenda items 5.2 to 5.5 as provided. All members listed under the consent calendar agenda are routine and enacted by one motion vote. For separate discussion of these items prior to the time, the Board of Education considers the motion unless a member of the board or administrative staff requests that specific items be discussed in your review. Do we have a motion and a second to approve that calendar agenda as provided? I move. I second. I have a motion from Ms. Krogman and a second from Ms. Ruiz. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. Hearing none, motion passes 5-0. Item 6.1, educational services, Golden Rose Club before. This item is for the board to 2023-24 Golden Rose Club before and after school program and understanding. Is there a motion and a second to open and discuss item 6.1?
I move to open and discuss. Second.
Any discussion or question? No? Okay. I have a motion from Ms. Ruiz and a second from Ms. Novella to approve item 6.1. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. Hearing none, motion passes 5-0. Item 6.2, educational services agreement renewal, Kicks to Learn 2023-24. This item is for the board to Kicks to Learn agreement for the 2023-24 school year. Is there a motion and a second to open and discuss item 6.2? I move.
Second.
Any discussion or question?
No, I guess me personally, just so no one thinks we're just randomly approving this just because we're renewing it, but it was successful, especially at the middle school where there were several incidences going on during lunch break. So this helped put a stop to some of the incidences that were occurring. So that's one of our reasons for renewing this. It was very useful, very successful.
Anyone else? No, okay. I have a motion for Ms. Trotman and a second from Ms. Novella to approve item 6.2. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. Hearing none, motion passes 5-0. Item 6.3, educational services agreement renewal, Institute for Behavioral Health, 2023-24. This item is for the board to receive the Institute for Behavioral Health Agreement, 2023-24 school year. Is there a motion and a second to open and discuss item 6.3?
Second.
Any discussion or question?
I have questions. Yes, I will. My question is if the district is looking into hiring someone to fulfill this other than using an outside agency. And yes, we are absolutely exploring, looking at the option of hiring, looking into staff such as a behavior, a board certified behavior analyst. So behavior analyst would be someone that would come in and observe students and analyze their needs. Yes, the behavior analyst, being boards with behavior analysts, their level of responsibility would be more rigorous than having just an example of behavior specialists. And so having the board certified behavior analysts, they'd be able to do other elements or items such as functional behavior analysis, in addition to observing students and making recommendations for next steps for students who have some more who display key behavioral issues or concerns. Would they also be working with students that were identified and needed special supports? And so, Dr. Wolfer, do you want to talk a little bit about some of the responsibilities? Thank you.
Yes, they would be working with students directly and indirectly. Our students with autism would also need, which we contract for as behavioral technicians that implement the plan of the BCBA. The BCBA comes and supervises, trains, supports, models, and then the behavior technician, which is usually all day, sits and implements the plan. And then the behavior analyst would come in, let's say once a week, twice a month, and to review the plan, work with the IEP team, and then retrain the behavior tech on any adjustments to the plan to make sure that students successful. And some of those strategies are like pivot response, ABA, which is applied behavioral analysis, discrete trial training, X, which is picture exchange communication systems to make our students with autism successful in the classroom.
Yes, so I understand we're in the process. Where in the process are we? Do we have a job description? Do we have an idea when we will start looking for applicants? How soon are we thinking that we'll be able to not have to review a contract?
So yes, we will be exploring next steps in terms of the timeline. With this particular agreement for the year, we can begin our process this year in hopes of having someone in place perhaps for the next year, but we can begin that process as quickly as possible in terms of looking for qualified applicants. And as far as job description, that's something that we can explore in terms of what we currently have available, and if that needs to be updated.
Just so I'm hearing that we are gonna start looking for next year. So this contract will secure for all of this year. That's correct. Okay. Thank you.
Could we have a update on a weekly update once, just need to know where you're at with the process? That way we don't forget about it.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you. Anything else, ladies? I have a motion from Ms. Novella and a second from Ms. Ruiz to approve item 6.3. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. Hearing none. Motion passes 5-0. Item 6.4, Educational Services Agreement Renewal, Judith A. Felber, Inc., 2023-24.
This item is for the board to renew a agreement for 2023-24 school year.
Is there a motion and a second to open and discuss item 6.4?
I move.
I second.
Any discussion or questions?
How many? I know this was asked at the agenda review. It was a good question. How many students do we currently have that use this service? Right.
Yes, we currently have 1 student, so we have 3 students with service through the county.
Yeah, the fiscal impact on this is $100,000. Have we looked into, I mean, for one student, have we looked into looking at other companies that provide this since?
Absolutely, Dr. Anthony will talk a little bit about some other options. Yes, this was the lowest quote between Rise, RC, we did not have anyone. She's about $50,000 lower than other all-day interpreting. Plus the student, the interpreter goes to the football games, interprets on the sidelines. The interpreter also interprets at practice and interprets Saturdays when they're practicing. So it's more than 40 hours a week of interpreting. There are 2 interpreters because you can only do American Sign Language for up to 4 hours at a time without a break. So then another interpreter comes in, tags this one out, and when they come for student events, for the football games, there might be 2 interpreters. So it can be a very labor intensive field. And so this really does pay for a couple interpreters because they have to take breaks because they cannot talk for hours and hours by themselves all day long.
Do we know any parents that we have that do not have students but are hearing impaired themselves that we take advantage of this work? Do we have any parents?
We have a couple parents, I don't think they're with us anymore. I think their student graduated maybe a year ago. And we do have a interpreting service where we call and we can get 54 different languages, including American Sign Language through video, the TDD that we do use.
Any other question? No, thank you. I have a motion for Ms. Troutman and a second for Ms. Ruth to approve item 6.4. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Hearing none, motion passes. Item 6.5, District and Community Relations 2023. Patty, School CEO Conference.
The items for the board to approve the attendance to the 2023 ACTG School CEO Conference, Rethink Brand and Culture.
Is there a motion and a second to open and discuss item 6.5?
I move.
Well, second.
Any discussion or question? Okay, hearing none, I have a motion for Ms. Troutman and a second for Ms. Ruiz to approve item 6.5. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say nay. Hearing none, motion passes 5-0. Item 7.1, Human Resources, increase current monthly board member compensation.
This item is for the board to approve the requested increase to the current monthly board member compensation by 5% effective July 1st, 2023.
Is there a motion and a second to open and discuss item 7.1?
Second.
Any discussion or question?
So just so the community is clear, this is something that is routinely done as is for other normal jobs.
Yes, so typically when there's an increase throughout the organization, an item like this will be brought to the board for April. You can only go up to 5%. So that's why this is 5%, another one is 8%. And so then it's at the board's discretion whether to approve. Pretty common.
And so on that note, my question is, have we looked at what other school board members and school districts, what their compensation is, and if we are in line?
We did pull that information. I don't have it in my file, but I know that there are some that are comparable and there are some that are less. So it just kind of depends. but it is a typical thing, but again, it goes back to, I guess I can speak to that. Publicly, there's a lot of things, this is my perspective, there's a lot of things that boards do that they're not compensated. So I think this stipend is roughly $300 or so a month. And the amount of work, effort, energy, and time is basically volunteer. So the stipend is relatively minimal. That's why me personally, I always make sure it goes on the agenda and then have the board take that liberty to agree to move forward, which would be in line with everything. But it is a lot of work that the board does, a lot of commitment and time.
Question. I have a motion from Ms. Troutman and a second from Tina Flora to approve item 7. Favor, say aye. Aye. Oh, I didn't. I said. Okay, motion passes. Oh, all right, we hardly have these. Okay, all those opposed say nay. Nay. Okay, so motion passes 4-1.
Yes. Well,
Item 7.2, human resources, tentative agreements and the understanding.
This item is for the board to approve tentative agreements and understanding for the 2023-2026 successor negotiations with California School Employee Associations, Chapter 147.
Is there a motion and a second to open and discuss item 7.2?
To open and discuss.
Second. Any questions or discussion? Okay, I have a motion from Ms. Ruiz and a second from myself, Ms. Anguiano, to approve item 7.2. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. Hearing none, motion passes 5-0. Item 8.1, business services, public disclosure, AB 1200, the FDA chapter 147, tentative agreement for 2023-24.
This item is for the board to approve the public disclosure AB 1200, CSEA chapter tentative agreement for 2023-24.
Is there a motion and a second to open and discuss item 8.1?
Second.
Good evening. The public disclosure, also known as Assembly Bill 1200 or AB 1200, is the second item as a follow-up to the tentative agreements in 7.2, and wanted to take the opportunity here to note that there has been a revision, and this is a lot of work that it gets put into this document in collaboration with the Riverside County of Education. And so just to let the record reflect that there's been a revised multi-year projection in 25-26 fiscal year to be in alignment with our budget projections. However, just to clarify, there is no change in the intent, rather than just a small revision to the document known as the public disclosure.
Any questions? Thank you. I have a motion from Ms. Troutman and a second from Ms. Ruiz to approve item 8.1. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say nay. Hearing none, motion passes 5-0. Item 8.2, business services resolution number 24-004, Florida Street Discovery Center, UTK. New construction modernization project.
This item is for the board to approve resolution number 24-004, approving the Florida Street Discovery Center year additional kindergarten, new construction and modernization project located at 671 Florida Street in Banning, California, 92220, and authorize the superintendent or designee to file a notice of exception to the California Environmental Quality.
Is there a motion and a second to open and discuss 8.2?
I move.
Any discussion or question?
Thank you for being so clear about it, that it's a necessary. Can you just kind of elaborate for the public? Why this is necessary?
Actually, thank you for the question here and to follow through here in terms of providing information to the public. So this particular board resolution is to have a notice of exemption to conduct an environmental study by the requirement of the California Environmental Quality Act. And because the construction project is under 10 classrooms, we don't have to process saving the district time and money. This is a formal process to ensure that the board is recognizing this exemption, and then the next steps is that filing the county clerk's office.
Okay, I have a motion for Ms. Troutman and a second from Ms. Novales to approve item 8.2. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. Hearing none, motion passes 5-0. Item 8.3, business services award consultant contract for geotech services in support of the new construction of Florida Street Discovery Center.
This item is for the board to award a consultant contract for geotech services in support of the new construction of 6 classrooms for the Florida Street Discovery Center. So Universal Transition Kindergarten Project.
Is there a motion and a second to open and discuss item 8.3?
A second.
Any discussion or questions?
And once again, this is in compliance, right? With the state.
That is correct. It's one of the requirements in the construction project in the Florida Street Discovery Center is moving forward with the geotech services and conducting all the studies ahead of the project.
It's 30.
This is the expansion of the transition area.
I have a motion for Ms. Novales and a second for Ms. Troutman to approve item 8.3. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. Hearing none, motion passes 5-0. Item 8.4, business services, change order number 3, Filter USA Inc.
This item is for the board to approve deductive change order number 3 to the contract with Filter USA Inc. for the bid and include stadium as provided.
Is there a motion and a second to open and discuss item 8.4?
I'll second.
Any discussion or question?
Mr. Herrera, would you talk savings to us, please?
More than happy to talk about savings with the board of trustees. Yes, and this is a change order for the final closeout of the project here. The original proposal, there were certain known as board siding that were going to be added. However, it was determined that it was unnecessary. So the overall savings, the change order to $28,437.01, bringing our overall total project at $1.17 million.
Any other questions? I have a motion for Ms. Martinez Lara and a second from Ms. Rui to approve item 8.4. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. Hearing none, motion passes 5-0. Item 8.5, business services, notice of completion for the Banning High School field turf replacement.
The item is for the board to approve the notice of completion for the Banning High School field trip replacement.
Is there a motion and a second to open and discuss item 8.5? Any discussion or question? Okay, I have a motion from Ms. Martinez Laura and a second from Ms. Ruiz to approve item 8.5. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay. All those opposed say nay. Hearing none, motion passes 5-0. Item 8.6, business services, Riverside USD piggyback bid for purchase of custodial supplies.
This item is for the board to approve the utilization of Riverside Unified School District bid number 2022-23-02 for custodial supplies and products awarded to Form Inc. for the 2023-24 school year.
Is there a motion and a second to open and discuss item 8.6?
Second.
Any discussion or question?
I just have a question. Is this, is Gorm one that we use all the time, or where are they located? Have we looked around at other places, or is this one that Riverside has approved? I mean, how do we get this contract?
So the first question here in terms of, is this the only supplier of custodial supplies? That is no, we are currently using Waxy. However, with the help of Mr. Tony Grossi, he searched for competitive pricing. And so this particular process here will yield the district a savings. And so what we're doing here is piggybacking or approving the bidding process that has been adopted and awarded by the Riverside Unified School District, meaning that they went through a process of competitive bidding, a list of supplies, and awarding that to the lowest, most responsible bidder. At this point, it is in the best interest of the district to then lock in the same prices and overall generate those savings. And in terms of just looking around for other suppliers, we're always constantly looking for the lowest cost. Obviously, also building those relationships with suppliers, because it's very important to have that dedication of a supplier to meet the district needs.
Okay, I have a motion from Ms. Trump, second from Ms. Wallace to approve item 8.6. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. Hearing none, motion passes 5-0. Item 8.7, business services resolution number 24-005, closing a benefit clearing account.
This item is for the board to approve resolution number 24-05, closing benefits clearing account.
Is there a motion and a second to open and discuss item 8.7?
Second.
Any discussion or question? I have a motion from Ms. Troutman and a second from Ms. Gonzalez to approve item 8.7. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. Motion passes 5-0. Item 8.8, business services contractual agreements.
This item is for the board to approve and ratify contractual agreements as provided.
Is there a motion and a second to open and discuss item 8.8?
I move to open and discuss.
Second.
Any discussion or questions? I have a motion for Ms. Ruiz and a second for Ms. Martinez Laura to approve item 8.8. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say nay. Hearing none, motion passes 5-0. Item 8.9, business services, monthly fiscal services report.
This item is for the board to approve the services report, bank reconciliations, purchase order, and summary and registered.
Is there a motion and a second to open and discuss item 8.9?
Move to open and discuss. I second.
Any discussion or question? I have a motion for Ms. Ruiz and a second for Ms. Troutman to approve item 8.9. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Hearing none, motion passes 5-0. Item 9.1, governance training update.
So good evening, just to share that the board is actively showing their engagement in professional learning. So on July 22nd, the governance team met with an attorney, which was an open session meeting to have Brown Act training. And it was good because we were all together. And two, we clarified some things, some questions that were still around, I will clarify. And so basically we went over procedures, process, and more importantly, methods of communication that are in alignment with the Brown Act. So that way, no one gets themselves in trouble, but we still strengthen our communication to the best of our ability to serve our community. So I want to thank the board for their commitment in that training, and we are discussing additional training in the near future. Thank you.
I would like, and thank you, Mr. Davis, for that. I would like to bring up the in line, in keeping with that, the creation of the board calendar to come for this year. And you know, so that we know when everything is, this is not a creation of a calendar that is for the school district. It's really for what is happening on the board, so that we're all on the same page. Because it's our hope to successfully communicate with each other and with all of you.
And I do believe the draft.
No, we haven't created it yet. We need to create it.
Okay, so
You got it?
You got the draft and getting drafted on?
I'm sorry.
One of the weekly communications showed the draft that we started.
So what we're sending that tomorrow is, so you can see a format that we can get some input about revising and tweaking it, and we can populate.
Wonderful, thank you.
Get so many emails. All right, item 10.1, board member comments. Who would like to go first?
I just want to wish everyone a very safe, amazing, healthy, and successful school year. I can't wait to see our students kill it this school year and show our staff members and our cabinet why they work so hard this year, including summer vehicles out there in the district, sometimes on Saturday, sometimes very late. Thank you, everyone, for everything you did over the summer, and thank you for everything that you will be doing during the school year.
I'll add to what she said. A lot of work was done over the summer. We appreciate everything that went into it. I'm looking forward to a great school year, starting with a football game, I believe, tomorrow night. Looking forward to looking at athletic this year. And just hoping that all of our kids feel safe and are learning to the best of their ability.
So following along those notes, I too would like to wish everyone a happy and safe school year. I'm looking forward to everything that's going to get done this year, and to all the kids that are going to graduate in May, and just all the fun things that are going to happen in between football games and track meets and all that good stuff. I can't even name them all.
Spelling, science fair, history.
Exactly, thank you. Spelling, science fair, all history, all that fun stuff. So I hope everyone has a fun and safe school year, and thank you all for your hard work during the summer. It shows. Thank you.
I would like to echo everything here, and I'm not going to repeat it, but you know, Mr. Davis so eloquently stated that our focus as a board is not only just the fun stuff, which is wonderful, and all the games and all of the hard work that you've all done. You're so dedicated, but it's also this year is also a focus on, in keeping with our mission statement and our LCAP, is student achievement, and how do we get there? That to me is such a priority. What does it look like? We talk about intervention, but we don't, but I mean, our focus really, I on primary achievement, including preparing students with the scope of appropriate grade level curriculum, school books, engaging all students in meaningful student-centered lessons that will include all student learning modalities, student-centered learning. This is engagement that students want to come to school, and looking at our lessons and including the standards in that, making sure that we are aligned, that our curriculum, that our standards are embedded in that, but that we focus on curriculum. And that's going to be something that is a real passion of mine. And so I'm hoping that as we do this, as opposed to just testing, I think I'm really looking forward to seeing even more progress and more excitement from teachers and students, more engagement. And I hope that this will be a successful year all the way around.
I too want to welcome all of our students, staff, and families to this new academic school year. I believe and I feel that it's started off very well and on a positive note. As a parent in elementary school, we were able to walk our students to their classrooms the first 2 days, and I always look forward to that. And it's so exciting to walk the kids to their classrooms, see all the students in the blacktop and their parents being there supporting them and participating. And that's what we want. We want that engagement from our families and our community with our students to give them that support to continue with their education. I know my kids were like, oh, the blacktop looks so different. Like, it's colorful. You know, there's fun new hopscotches and everything. And it's exciting to see the kids playing in the morning. And so I know that we're doing good. And I'm really grateful that we're doing those positive changes. They may be super little, but they mean the world to the kids. And so I appreciate that. I'm excited to see all the posts that Ms. Lynette has been posting and from all of our sites. So thank you to everyone who contributes and sends pictures to her. I know she can't be everywhere and there's always exciting things happening in our district. So it's really exciting to see that. I know our sites are getting ready for back to school night. So I really hope it's a good turnout and families are able to go and meet their teachers and learn more about how they can help their students and see all the exciting things that they'll be doing. So I really do appreciate all of your hard work, and I'm excited to see our upcoming events, as well as our students presenting. You're going to miss them at this board meeting. So hopefully at the next one, we get to know more about each site. So thank you for all of your work. Thank you. Okay, item 11.1, future board items. Do we have any?
I would like to see, and I don't know when this is going to happen, but Mr. Davis, did you say that we will be getting a dashboard soon, or when will that take place?
Yes. Absolutely.
Yes, we are hoping to have complete CAP scores published in September, and the dashboard, going off of the state's previous timeline, usually tends to be published to December. So we're looking for complete CAPS scores in September and a dashboard by December.
So we could discuss the CAP scores in the next meeting, something like that.
Yes, as we usually like to wait for that information to be published, and as soon as that information is published, the state stays on their timeline. And so we're anxiously anticipating that September. And once that is, we'll absolutely have a presentation ready to go.
No, you can say it. It's up to you.
No pressure. Okay, we are going to do item 12.1, we convene in closed session. So. We're not gonna take more than 30 minutes. And. Try, really try. Okay, and I guess we convene to closed session at 8:30 p.m. Thank you.